This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition. Feast or Famine, Part 6. When we left off, Q and Angela had another of their heart-to-hearts. About a week has passed, and Q and Michael have moved all of their stuff into their new house. Angela and her kids have come over to help them get unpacked and go on a little tour. Melissa and Angel were overjoyed to discover that they each had their own rooms, fully furnished and decorated in their favorite themes. Melissa asked, "Are we moving in, Mommy?" Angela said, "No." Q said, "Not right now, but soon. In the meantime, you have your own rooms, your own stuff, and you can come here, play, do homework, have dinner, spend the night, whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. This is your home too. Your mom has a lot of important work that she's going to have to get done over the next few months. So I'm going to be helping Nana Brenda take care of you guys." Then Melissa and Angel run over to Q, envelop him in a huge hug, and give him kisses. And Angel says, "Thank you, Daddy. I love you." Angela and Q both freeze. When Q's finally able to pull himself together emotionally, he looks at Angel and says, "I love you too." Then Michael says, "He's not your daddy, he's my daddy." Instantly, Angel bursts into tears, and Angela goes to console him, while Q takes Michael into his room to have a little talk with him. Q says, "Talk to me, son. What was that about?" Michael says, "I'm glad we moved out of that stupid house. Everything would be perfect if my mommy was here. Then she could have moved in with us." Q said, "I know you miss your mom, but no, she couldn't have moved in with us." Michael says, "Well, if it wasn't for Angela," Q said, "Son, you're too young to understand all of the ins and outs of adult relationships. But you can understand that Angela isn't the reason why your mother and I weren't together. Your mother and I were the reason why we weren't together. If your mother was here, whether I was with Angela or not, I would not have been with your mother. What's important is that your mother loved you and I love you. And Angela loves you." Michael says, "But I don't understand why you and Mommy and me, why we couldn't just be a family." Q said, "Listen, son, I'm always going to keep it real with you, but I'm not going to tell you things that you're too young to hear or not mature enough for. Now, your mother kept me from you and kept you from me for 8 years. I forgave her because I love God. She did some terrible things, and those things are the reason why we can't be a family. Now, I don't believe that your mother was trying to hurt you when she made the decisions that she made, but she did hurt me. She made decisions that prove that she didn't love me. One day, you're going to be a man, and you're going to love a woman. And if that woman does to you what your mother did to me, run. You get to miss your mother, but you don't get to mistreat Angel." Michael said, "Well, I don't want them to live here with us." Q said, "Well, that's not up to you, because this house belongs to me and Angela, and we get to decide who lives here with us." Then Michael asked, "Do you love Angela?" And Q said, "With my whole heart, son." Michael asked, "Do you love Melissa and Angel too?" Q said, "I do." Then Michael asked, "More than you love me?" Q wrapped his arms around his son and said, "Son, I love each one of you in a way that's individual and unique. There are no comparisons in love, and there isn't a person in this world that I love more than I love you. I want us all to be a family, and if God says the same, one day soon, Angela will be my wife, and Angel and Melissa will be your siblings." Then Michael asked, "Are you and Angela going to have a baby?" Q said, "If God says the same. But no matter how many children we have, no matter how many people move into this house, no matter how many people come in or out of our lives, nothing will ever change the bond that you and I have. You are my first son. No one can replace you, and you don't ever have to compete for my love." Michael says, "Well, Angela's not my mother, and I'm never going to love her like my mother." Q said, "No one can ever replace your mother, son. And no one will ever ask you to love them the way you loved your mother. But you will respect her. And if you're smart, you'll let her love you." Being open to receiving and giving love to someone else doesn't dishonor your mother or her memory. It doesn't make you disloyal, and it doesn't negate the love that you and your mother shared. You should be thanking God for sending Angela. She's one of a kind, son, and she's done more for you and your mother than you even realize. Now tell me something. How do you think you made Angel feel? Michael said, bad. Q said, do you think that he did something to deserve that? Michael said, no. Q said, so what do you think you should do, son? Then Michael went and apologized to little Angel and gave him a hug and offered to take him in his room and play with him and his toys. But Melissa was having none of it. She said, Michael, don't be mean to my brother again. It's not our fault that our daddy died or that your mother died. Angela was shocked. She said, Melissa. Q said, let her be. Melissa said, you don't get to be a selfish meanie pants and just apologize. Q asked, Michael, you have anything you want to say? Michael looked at Q like, you sure I could say what I want to say? Q nodded, and Michael said, you don't know what it's like to have a mommy one day and then not have a mommy the next day. Melissa said, that's where you're wrong. I do know what it's like. I had a mommy and a daddy, and then I didn't. All because my mommy was a bad person just like your mommy. Michael said, my mommy wasn't bad. She loved me. Melissa said, our mommies were good to us, but they were bad to other people. We could still love them, but we can't be like them. My first mommy tried to hurt my mommy Angela, and she still loves me. My mommy Angela's good because God gave her a good heart. My first mommy, I don't know. I miss her sometimes, and I still love her, and I wish things were different sometimes. But then my mommy Angela reminds me that both of my mommies love me, and that it's okay to love them both. Michael said, well, my mommy didn't do anything to hurt your mommy. She just wanted to be a family with my daddy and me. Then Melissa looked at Michael and said, maybe you should ask your daddy what your mommy did. Then Q interrupted and said, okay, that's enough. You've both been through a lot. And Melissa, you've had several years to talk through the things that you've been through. But Michael hasn't. This is all new for him. I'm glad that you both know that you can express yourself and that we'll hear you out and talk you through it. Michael, I want you to have these conversations with your new therapist. Open up to her. Allow her to help you through this. And talk with me and Angela so that we can help you through this too. But I need you both to understand that Angela and I aren't going anywhere. We're both in your lives to stay. Q and Angela hugged both of the children, and then Angela left them with Q because she needed to get over to the church. She had a one-on-one with one of the women in the women's group, Veronica. In Angela's office, Veronica came in and she said, so, explain to me one more time how this works, sis, because I don't want to tell you this and then hear it come out of Donovan or Q or the Queen Mother's mouth. Angela said, you already know. Everything shared in group or in a one-on-one session is absolutely confidential. If I could keep everything that I knew about Amoura to myself, I certainly can keep whatever you shared to myself. Veronica said, well, I haven't had a menstrual cycle since before Travis attacked me in my house. Angela just stared. Veronica said, I haven't taken a test or seen a doctor because I don't know what to do. Angela asked, what do you mean? Veronica said, this is Texas. If I get anything on the record about being pregnant and then I don't deliver a baby full term, I could be arrested. Angela said, oh. So have you discussed this with Donovan? Veronica said, no, because I don't know who the father of the potential baby is. Without an ultrasound, I can't possibly pinpoint a due date. Angela said, and you can't have one in Texas. Okay, you know what? Marcia is an OBGYN. How do you feel about flying in North Carolina? When Angela's done with her meeting with Veronica, she calls Q to check in on him and the children. He lets her know that they're going to have a play date, and then they're going to spend the night at the house with him. He tells her to enjoy her day, and he'll see her tomorrow. Angela decides to make the rest of the day a spa day. She goes and gets herself pampered from head to toe. Then she goes home to do some business. She updates Miss Brenda on everything that transpired over at Q's house with the children. That night, she sleeps comfortably, knowing that the children are safe with Q. And then the next morning, she gets up and does her usual routine. She starts her morning with her prayer and Bible study, does her smoothie and vitamins, and then she goes out on the trails for her run and hits the gym for her weights. When she comes back in the house, before she can even hit the shower, her intercom system alerts her that someone's at her front gate. It's Saturday morning, and she isn't expecting anyone. When she looks on the system, she sees a woman in a vehicle that she doesn't recognize. She lets her in and meets her at the front door, where the woman is carrying 2 garment bags and multiple shopping bags. The woman tells her that she's Q's personal shopper and that she has some items that he asked her to deliver. Before Angela even has a chance to look through the stuff, her intercom system buzzes again. When she looks at the camera, it's a florist. She lets him in, goes to the door, and accepts the largest bouquet of calla lilies she's ever seen. They're in a royal blue frosted vase, tied with a royal blue, white, and silver bow. The card attached says, "Love, you have 2 date options and 2 outfits to choose from. It's all up to you."